The city was a monster made of noise, horns, sirens, jackhammers, and the constant rumble of the subway. Even inside my apartment, the chaos seeped through the walls, making it impossible to think. My friends Mia, Sam, and Chloe felt it too. Headaches, jumpy nerves, and dreams of silence haunted us. We were desperate for escape, for a place where quiet wasn't just a fantasy. That's when Sam's uncle offered us his old cabin at Whispering Lake, deep in the woods. The name sounded like a promise: peace, quiet, and a break from the city's relentless roar. We packed our bags in a heartbeat, imagining lazy days by the water and nights of real sleep. As we left the city behind, the noise faded, replaced by the scent of pine and earth. We thought we were heading for paradise. We had no idea what was waiting for us. The bus dropped us at a lonely crossroads, Whispering Lake, 5 miles ahead. A silent local, Mr. Henderson, drove us down a narrow dirt path, the forest closing in. The city was gone. Only the crunch of gravel and the rustle of leaves remained. Mia took off her headphones, Chloe smiled, and Sam kept glancing back, uneasy. The lake appeared, a perfect black mirror surrounded by ancient pines with a small, weathered cabin on the shore. Mr. Henderson warned us not to wander after dark, then left us alone in the thick, heavy quiet. The silence was almost physical, pressing in from all sides. We were finally alone, wrapped in the quiet we'd craved. It felt like a dream come true. But the silence was deeper than we'd ever imagined. The moment the truck's engine faded, silence swallowed us whole. We explored the cozy cabin, our footsteps echoing in the stillness. As dusk fell, we sat on the porch, listening to the gentle whisper of leaves and the soft lap of water. The tension of city life melted away. We barely spoke, just soaking in the peace. Dinner was simple: hot dogs and marshmallows by the fire, laughter echoing across the lake. The darkness deepened, the lake turning to ink, the silence growing heavier. We told stories, feeling safe and content. The fire's glow was a small comfort in the vast, quiet night. We thought the silence was our friend. We didn't know it was watching us. We were about to learn the truth. That night, the silence in the cabin was absolute, until I heard it. Tap, 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 right by my head at the window. No wind, no branches, just a deliberate, chilling sound. My heart pounded as the tapping grew sharper, like fingernails on glass. Then a wet, smacking noise from the kitchen, followed by a slow, scraping sound. Sam whispered, "Did you hear that?" Chloe called out, "Mia, is that you?" But Mia was in bed, terrified. We all heard it, something pressing against the window, leaving greasy, unnatural handprints. Fear filled the cabin. We lay frozen, listening to every creak and breath. Something was outside, trying to get in. The silence was no longer peaceful. It was suffocating. We barely slept, haunted by the sounds in the dark. The night felt endless. We weren't alone. Morning brought weak sunlight and little comfort. We avoided talking about the night, but Chloe finally broke the silence. "We all heard that, right?" Sam tried to rationalize. "Probably just an animal." But Mia pointed to the kitchen window. There, in the daylight, were greasy, distorted handprints. Too many fingers, too long, too thin. We tried to explain it away, but the truth was clear. Something unnatural had visited us. The lake and woods, once peaceful, now felt menacing and watchful. Every sound made us jump, every shadow seemed to move. We stuck together, venturing outside, but the dread only grew. The silence felt like a trap, hiding something terrible. We kept glancing at the cabin, the trees, the black water. The quiet was no longer our refuge, it was a warning. At the lake's edge, Mia gasped, footprints in the mud. Not human, not animal, long, flat, webbed, and impossibly large. The prints led from the water, circled the cabin, stopped at our windows, then vanished back into the lake. Sam knelt, pale and silent, staring at the impossible tracks. None of us could explain them. Fear settled in our bones. The image of a creature, tall, thin, with webbed feet and long fingers, haunted us. We realized we were trapped, miles from help, surrounded by woods and water. The sun shone, but it felt like a lie. The real world was the one from last night, dark, silent, and full of monsters. We all knew it came from the lake and it would return. We had to act, but how do you fight what you can't understand? Panic set in as the day wore on. We barricaded the door but knew it wouldn't help for long. Sam and I tried to run for help, following the dirt road through the silent woods. Suddenly, a little girl's voice cried out from the trees. "Help me! I'm lost!" It sounded real but too perfect, too rhythmic. Underneath, a wet, scraping noise. I grabbed Sam. "It's a trick!" The voice grew desperate, then started laughing, cold and inhuman. It began calling our names, mimicking Chloe's voice. "Jack! Sam! Wait for us!" We ran, terror chasing us back to the cabin. The thing in the woods could mimic us, lure us. We burst inside, slamming the door, breathless and terrified. The silence outside was alive, listening. We realized we were being hunted. Inside, Mia found a legend online. Creatures called the Silencers lived in the lake, drawn to unnatural quiet. For centuries the sounds of nature kept them dormant, but our peaceful silence had awakened them. They hunted with mimicry, luring prey with stolen voices and sounds. The tapping, the crying, the laughter, it was all bait. They hated loud, chaotic noise. It confused and hurt them. The city noise we'd fled was our only protection. Our whispers and laughter had been a beacon in their silent world. We hadn't found paradise, we'd entered a hunting ground. Now, as night fell, they were outside, waiting, listening. We had to fight silence with noise, or be lost forever. Darkness and silence closed in, broken only by the creatures' tapping and mimicry outside. We grabbed anything that made noise, pots, pans, a radio, our own voices. The cabin erupted in a chaotic symphony, banging, clanging, shouting, static. The creatures shrieked in pain, retreating from the noise. We sang, shouted and hammered, refusing to let the silence return. All night we battled sound against silence, exhaustion setting in. As dawn broke, the shrieks faded, and the creatures slipped back into the lake. The silence that returned was empty, not menacing. We didn't wait. We grabbed our bags and ran for the road. The sound of an approaching engine was the sweetest music we'd ever heard. The city's noise, once a curse, was now our salvation. We had survived the silence, but we would never crave it again. Sometimes noise is the only thing that keeps the monsters away.